Hello, happy Wednesday vlog day. I hope you are okay. The weatherman has said last night on Calendar News that at the end of June, it's going to get better. Even this weekend looks a bit promising. But apparently it's been the coldest. Not that I felt cold, but it's been the coldest June since 1991. It's just been wet and miserable, isn't it? And I went out yesterday and watered my plants, and then an hour later it was like, and the point of that was... so frustrated. But it is going to get better, which is good. But what we don't want is what Greece, the US and Canada and Cyprus are having at the minute, where temperatures have come far earlier than they normally do, which is only because of climate change. And even though someone said to me the other day that it was a hoax as much as COVID was, don't have time for you is my answer. But it leads me nicely on to why we share things from we're classed as Leeds Binfluencers. Come on, that's a title that you all know you want. But what it is anything that's Leeds Recycles or Leeds City Council that shares information that's relevant to you, we will share it. And also I share a few other social media platforms that I think are really good and just sort of give you a bit of an insight as to why we need to do our bit, because the weather is changing whether we like it or not. But we could do little tiny things that make a big impact. And obviously there was a hailstorm at the weekend which came out of nowhere. And just before I went to Hookmore, thankfully, but I know a couple of friends who went to Hookmore, where you shouldn't be when there's a hailstorm and lightning. But it came out of nowhere, and everyone gets sort of really excited about the size of hailstones. Look at the size of my golf balls, but it wasn't like bad unless you compacted it together and created a golf ball. But it just means that these things are changing, and yet still we have people who don't recycle and don't have two bins in their kitchen or utility or whatever you keep them, which to me is a bit mad. So much so, as we touched on, there was something like 11 tons of glass being put in black bins, even though in Garforth alone we've got about 5 or 6 destinations to put your glass bottles. But if people still aren't doing that, can't really look at the hails and go, well. So we try and sort of influence, things that are being shared to us, or we can pick up and share to you, and tell you what's beneficial to you and how you can do things. And there's still always some confusion about what can be recycled, but with Leeds Recycles, we try and sort of push that out so that you can go, all right, actually, that's quite educational. I've actually learned something. What I thought you could, you can't, and what I do, we shouldn't. So it's sort of that, which leads me beautifully on to Incredible Edibles. They're currently at City Square. They were there yesterday. The lovely Dan and the team from Incredible Edible Leeds and Kippax and South Milford and Crossgates. There's about 27 of them, and Dan and the team have just made this a rather large thing, and they are there today at City Square with the Yorkshire Sustainable Festival, which is there till the 21st of June. But it's great, and they've got all the greens, and there's like little cook shows of stuff going on, and there's quite a good couple of speakers, like Mary Porter's Lady After My Own Heart, and John Richardson, and what's the guy that does the design that everyone loves? Can't remember his name, but he is there as well at some point between now and the 21st of June. So there's lots going on at City Square, and it's Yorkshire Sustainable Festival. So if that's your thing, do go. We do have our own eco-friendly Garforth again, and clothes swap and repair cafe and stuff like that. I do share this stuff out to you because it's very important, even locally. If we're doing something different and great and sustainable and brilliant for our town, then hopefully other towns are doing the same thing. That's only a good thing. So let's say they're there till the 21st of June, but our team are there yesterday and today. So if you're about to City Square, if you have time in your lunchtime, go pop along and go and have a chat. Obviously the Euros have started on the 14th, Father's Day, and I hope you all had a nice one. We went to Izgara and it was beautiful. I had the moussaka and it was very, very nice. And then I had, I don't want to say what they are because I'll get them wrong, but the little green peppers, and I'll just put them as that. And I get to, just eat them and eat them and eat them. They're beautiful. But the moussaka, definitely lovely and plentiful, just beautiful. I like it, and it's the first time my sons have tried it and they loved it too, which is great. But obviously we've got lots of places showing Euros at the minute, like the Podger, and all the local pubs around, and even the cocktail places, the new one that's off the oh come on Chris, speak. You know where you go to Tesco's, you pass Sugar Rush, you carry on down the industrial estate. That's the word I wanted to look for. Lovely menopause brain fog always kicks in when you don't want it to. And you go down the end of there and there's cocktail pickers there. That's a new sort of tap bar, which is great. And there's obviously lots of other places showing it. So go, this is the time to go to pubs. I'm not a football fan, but I love the Euros and I love the World Cup because what it brings people together, it brings joy, it brings excitement. It just brings that fun element, and if England do well in anything, it just gets people together, and I love it. I love hearing it. If you get to semi-finals or quarter-finals and they're playing a match and you can hear, and I love that the Scottish people are all over in Germany absolutely loving the fact that they're there, and it's them little things that I really like. Them happy times for people, even if you don't like football, go and enjoy it, and it's a perfect time to sort of go and support your local pub if they've got it on, to go and watch it. Today I've noticed, which I've never seen before, at Costa at 2:00 today, there is it's a company, a volunteer company from Hull called Healing Rooms, sort of like a receive prayer offering. So it's all open to anybody. Just go and have a chat with someone if you want to go and say some prayers. It's an option, never seen it before, so that's at 2 p.m. at Costa. St Aidan's, we did put something up, but it was a ticketed event for a nocturnal walk, which was starting at 9:15 tonight, and unfortunately they're sold out for today. But then 3 quite quick people come down the list below to say that they had tickets, but they needed to sell them on, and I just thought, I'm not too sure that everyone is believable, really, so I sort of stopped it. So as I was saying before the dog lovely and beautifully interrupted, there was 3 people that very quickly, simultaneously put on that their tickets, they had some tickets and could no longer go to this nocturnal walk at St Aidan's tonight. And I just thought, one of them or 2 could be genuine, but I wasn't too sure, so I've just deleted. But unfortunately, it is sold out tonight. And the next available time, which is great, it's a nocturnal walk at St Aidan's, it's fab. It's the 24th of July, and tickets range from £3 to £16, which I can only presume it's like kids and family and adults. So the next one is 24th of July. Go and have a look at St Aidan's. I think you'll find it under Fir Burnings and St Aidan's, and all the details are there. What I have noticed, and I do share stuff from St Aidan's because again, it's a great thing to share, and I know it's not in Garforth, but that's irrelevant. We do share everything that's outside Garforth too, that's relevant to you, and St Aidan's is one of them. And they have noticed yesterday they've got a new car parking ticket machine that you have to, lots of people park on the outside and then get tickets. So rather than getting them horrible tickets, which are more expensive, go and support St Aidan's so you can keep on walking and taking care of what they do with their volunteers. It doesn't cost that much, but there is a new ticket machine by the cafe, so just to be aware of that. I've just noticed that the Kippax Makers Market is back on the 20th of July, so that's always good. There's one in Rothwell as well, like a farmer's market. I think that's one Sunday a month. It might have just gone, but have a look because that's a really cool thing to go, and it's not that far away. The White Horse at Ledston, I've noticed today, and put up tonight at 8:00 as the Morris dances. So if you want to go for something to eat and a beer or whatever, I go to the Morris dances. A bit random, but I just saw it, so I thought I'd share it. Going to events, lots of our schools, our primary schools generally, there is a PTA or group of people that support voluntarily their school. So this is generally a mix of parents and friends of the school and teachers that come together and put these events on for the school that your child goes to. Every single time, and it's not changed at all, even when I helped out at my children's primary school at Green Lane. They were forever shouting and screaming if people could come and volunteer and help and assist at all their fairs, summer fair, autumn fair, Halloween fair, Christmas fair, or event that they were holding in the hall. And it tend to be the same people again and again and again. It's not hearing me shouting at you. But what I want to tell you is the volunteer benefits to you and to the school, because time doesn't cost anything unless you're making money, but when you're giving it as volunteer, it doesn't cost you anything. It benefits the school that your child is going to. It shows your children what it is good to give that bit of time and to volunteer, to actually assist and have a knock-on effect of how your volunteering can then help that thing that your child is part of or you're part of. So it's actually teaching your children a good thing. It also takes the stress from the group that do it day in and day out, because being a volunteers group as a P or a PTA is not easy work, I can tell you now, because generally there's lots of voices with great ideas, but sometimes the noise is quite loud, and anybody in a PTA knows what I'm talking about. But what we do find is that they give their time, and their time is so valuable. So when you're not part of the PTA and they want you for an hour or two, and even getting offered free drinks and butties or whatever it is at the summer fair, please just give your time. It's just, in the scheme of things, it's probably about 0.3% of your life. And then it makes the event really successful because they've had that help. But most importantly, it just teaches your kids a good thing. So please do go and support that. I've noticed since last week I did mention that jobs for school leavers, because we've got lots of school leavers, which is either A-levels or GCSE students, now looking for jobs. And it's great because I have seen on Garforth Jobs, after mentioned last week, that people have been on and asking for themselves, which is always a really, really good thing to do. But which is really frustrating, and it's not changed for a very, very long time, which is where children, and they are still kids, are applying for jobs and getting no response whatsoever. So they're applying for jobs online, unless they go through an agency, they get no responses from people. As crap as it is, it's the norm, and don't be defeated. Just keep going. I know one lad had replied for nearly 100 jobs and he just got nothing back. And it's one of them things where kids need experience, but no one's willing to give them it. Even some people went for volunteers jobs and still they weren't qualified to do it, which is just a bit hideous. But just as a company, especially if you're a local business, who are after either giving apprenticeships or Saturday jobs or week jobs or part-time jobs, please do just reply to people and say thanks but no thanks. And even if they've got to interview, just give them some feedback so that they can find out what went wrong or how they could improve for the next interview. So be kind, people. I know people have always done it, it doesn't really matter, but it does when you're a kid that's applied for like 50 plus jobs or even 20 plus jobs, and it's really difficult. And don't say, well, they got to learn the hard way. It's just, they're learning that people aren't very polite. That's not a good teaching. So please do just let them know thanks but no thanks. And if they've been to an interview, just give them some feedback so they can learn from it. Right, I'll leave it there. Now I'm about to split it into Have a beautiful day. It is meant to be nicer this weekend. Fingers crossed. And then at the end of June, the heat will slowly be where it needs to be, but not too hot. Be mindful of your interaction with the world. Have a beautiful day.